Claire DuPont was only 21 years old when she left her quiet Parisian life behind and stepped onto a plane bound for Tokyo. She was adventurous, curious, and fascinated by Japan's culture. For her, studying abroad was an opportunity of a lifetime. She imagined neon lights, steaming bowls of ramen, bustling streets, and peaceful shrines. What she did not imagine was terror. When Claire arrived in Tokyo in late autumn of 1998, she found herself in a city that never seemed to sleep. But Claire's budget was almost nothing, so she looked for the cheapest room available. Through a small agency, she was directed to an old 3-story building. It sat in a quiet neighborhood, far away from the crowds, and even farther from comfort. The walls were yellowed, the corridors smelled faintly of mold, and the flickering bulbs buzzed overhead like dying insects. Her room was small, barely enough space for a mat, a desk, a sliding door closet, and a narrow kitchenette. But for Claire, it was enough. She smiled when she set her bags down. The landlord, an old man with blank, watery eyes, told her in a serious tone, "This building is quiet, please. Do not disturb the silence." At the time, she thought nothing of it. The first week passed peacefully. She went to class, met other exchange students, and spent afternoons trying unfamiliar foods from convenience stores. At night, however, the strangeness began. She heard it first as faint scratching, coming from the wall near her bed. Not loud, not constant, just steady. Scritch, scratch, pause, then a tap. Claire dismissed it as mice, or maybe insects. The building was old, after all, but then she realized something. The scratching always started after she lay down, after she turned out the light, after she whispered good night to herself. The sound seemed to be waiting for her. By the 5th night, the scratching stopped, and that was worse, because at exactly 3:15 in the morning, Claire woke to another sound. Footsteps, heavy, measured, deliberate footsteps, above her room, except the floor above hers was sealed. No one lived there. The entire 3rd floor had been locked years before, after what the neighbors vaguely called an incident. She pressed her ear to the ceiling. Thump, thump, drag. Something was moving directly above her bed. She held her breath, praying the sound would stop. Finally, silence returned. When she asked her landlord the next morning, he dismissed her fears. The 3rd floor is empty. Nobody has been there in years. Claire wanted to believe him, but she didn't. Days went by, and the building no longer felt lifeless. It felt alive. Sometimes she swore she felt eyes on her, even in an empty room. Sometimes the air shifted unnaturally, as though disturbed by something unseen. One afternoon, while reorganizing her closet, Claire's hand brushed against a wooden panel. It wobbled, curious. She pushed. The panel slid open, revealing a dark, narrow space. A smell poured out, stale, sour, human. Inside, she saw a thin futon, half-eaten food containers, bottles filled with stale liquid, and scattered papers. Heart racing, She grabbed the papers. They were diary entries, written in a jagged, frantic hand. Even with her limited Japanese, she understood enough. She doesn't know yet. Watching her sleep makes me calm. She looks prettiest. When she is afraid, Claire dropped the paper, her blood running cold. Someone had been living in her wall, watching her. Panicked, she ran to the landlord with the papers. He frowned, said he would come see for himself. When they returned, the crawl space was empty. The futon, the bottles, the diary, gone, erased. The landlord scolded her. "There is nothing here. You are tired. Stop imagining things." He resealed the panel with nails. But that night, Claire heard the sound again. Not from the wall, not from the ceiling, from beneath her pillow. Scratch, scratch. The nights grew worse. Claire barely slept. Her nerves shredded. One evening, she studied late into the night. The building was silent, too silent. And then she heard it. A whisper, a man's voice, muffled as though spoken through wood, just inches from her ear. She could not understand the words, but she felt certain they were meant for her. She froze, the pen slipping from her hand. The whisper came again. Her breath shook. This was no rat. This was no trick of her imagination. Someone was inside. By dawn, Claire packed what she could. She left clothes, belongings, almost everything. She only wanted one thing: escape. She fled the building forever, never once looking back. Months later, back in France, she was scrolling the internet when she found a headline. Police in Tokyo had arrested a man for secretly living inside people's homes. He hid in walls, crawl spaces, ceilings. He crept out only at night to watch the tenants as they slept. Authorities discovered entire stacks of diaries describing each victim in chilling detail. Claire's hands shook. She remembered the words on the pages she had once found in her wall. Watching her sleep makes me calm. She looks prettiest. When she is afraid, Claire realized those pages had been about her, and the night she had discovered his hiding place. He must have cleared everything before the landlord returned. If she had stayed even one more night, she may not have lived to escape. To this day, every faint scratch unsettles her. Every creak of a closet door makes her chest tighten. She wonders, was she just another entry in the hidden man's diary? And worse, did he ever truly leave the silent room?